Hi, today I thought I'd take a look at The Amazing Spider-Man. Now, this was part of a six-issue run that was basically a bunch of PSA comics aimed at the Canadian market. And what happened was, and I don't know the full story of the origin of this, but Marvel produced a series of six comics and put good talent on it at the behest of some organizations, anti-drug organizations and road safety organizations, and the provinces of Canada. And um, usually what happened with these comics was that they were never sold in stores as far as I remember. They were always given out by police. So it looks like what happened was police stations across the country, when they went to schools to talk about road safety or just say no to drugs, would hand out these free copies of these comics. And each comic depicts Spider-Man going to a different part of Canada. So one of them is Calgary, another one is like somewhere in Quebec, and here Spider-Man visits Toronto, and it just so happens that Ghost Rider visits Toronto. And I remember I was around 14 or 15 when I received this. I have two issues of this from school, and I picked up another copy just on the back market, and I'm trying to collect them all. Um, but at the time, Spider Man was white hot in terms of popularity. It was between Spider Man and His Amazing Friends, which was early 80s, and the 90s cartoon. The 90s cartoon had not come out yet, so this is 1991. And without the aid of a cartoon or like a big video game or anything, or even a movie, Spider Man was big in teenage culture, kid culture. We all read Spider Man. And I remember a time in early high school when, it didn't matter if you were a jock or a nerd or etc. You could carry a conversation with someone just about Spider Man. We were all into it. And of course, Ghost Rider had the Danny Ketch Ghost Rider had his series come out the year before this, and Ghost Rider was instantly white hot again. So in this issue, Spider-Man will visit Toronto in 1991, and you see this kid is wearing a Blue Jays T-shirt, and here it is in all its glory. So this is the SkyDome. This was opened in I think '89, uh, and it was state of the art at the time. Recently, it's been announced that they're going to tear it down soon, and probably put up a new one. But the SkyDome at the time was swanky and new and exciting. A lot of things took place there. Of course, the MLB All-Star Game took place there. I think the year this comic came out. Of course, WrestleMania 6, where Hogan lost to Ultimate Warrior, was in SkyDome. It's not called SkyDome anymore. It's called the Rogers Center because a big communications corporation here in Canada called Rogers bought it, but it'll always be SkyDome to me. Here's the CN Tower. You don't even see the full extent of it because it's so tall. And Spider-Man wants to leave because he wants to go back to his wife in New York. This was written by Dwayne McDuffie and penciled by Jim Craig, and inked by Chris Ivy and Don Hudson. You see more shots of SkyDome and CN Tower, and they talk a lot about the Blue Jays in this. Of course, this comic is 1991. The Blue Jays are doing very well this season, and in 1992, the Blue Jays won the World Series, and they did it again in 1993. I'm not a big sports guy, but it was hard not to be at that time when you live. I live in Toronto, and here in Toronto, it was very exciting at that point. I mean, we're traditionally a hockey town, so when the Jays won like back-to-back World Series, it was crazy here. They were all over the place. There's souvenirs all over the place. I used to collect the Upper Deck baseball trading cards, and I made it a point to get all the Blue Jays at the time, especially Joe Carter. And here they're teaching you road safety and everything, but this guy, I think this guy's a drunk driver and hits him. He hits this kid. This is really heartbreaking here. He's crying as he knows he's going to be hit. And here's a Jello commercial. There's a lot of Spider-Man hawking stuff here. So here's the Burger King Kids Club, which I never cared about. They look like they're trying too hard. Like, look how cool. This guy has goggles for some reason. And Jello jigglers, which I don't even know they make anymore. And you can mail away for free molds. Nowadays, this would just be sold at Dollarama. And the guy who hit the kid just gets in his car and leaves, which is really cold-blooded. And the dude that picks him up is Danny Ketch. Danny Ketch is his uncle from the States, I guess, coming to visit, and saw this kid go into an alleyway and decided to meet him up in there, and then realized he got hit by a car. And of course, Danny Ketch is the Ghost Rider, so he's gonna go after this dude. This F1 race for Game Boy, I had this, but I had it used from a friend. I never had this rig set up that I guess came with it. The game itself was awesome. It was very basic graphics, but it executed them very well. Like like I love the winding roads and stuff. It was a great game. And here you have the unfortunately named mascot BJ Birdie. BJ Birdie was introduced in 1979. The Blue Jays started in 77. And he was around for 20 years. As far as I know, he was a contractor. There was one guy who played him. And I guess the Blue Jays said, you know what, let's make our own mascot. So they made two mascots. They made a mascot named Diamond, who's a girl, and Ace, who's a boy. And they're both basically renditions of BJ Birdie, but like more like quote unquote hip and cool, with like ball caps and stuff like that. And they've been the mascots ever since around, I guess, 99. But here's BJ Birdie in all his glory, like meeting Peter Parker. I love that Dwayne McDuffie draws a word balloon and nothing comes out. And Peter Parker's like, that's easy for you to say. Here's the SkyDome logo, and the riders here are doing their road safety demonstrations. Here's a subscription page. I guess you don't see these anymore. I mean, really, if you wanted to subscribe, it would just be all online. But back in the day, you check off what you want, and then you fill in your name and everything, and send it off. Yeah, the deals here are just standard stuff. First title deduct $350. Each additional title deduct $450. Yeah, they're trying to give you like a bulk deal of some sort. It's interesting what goes up and up and up in price here. It's like these are all $20 down to X-Men Classics. I used to collect X-Men Classics because I didn't buy the originals because I wasn't around back then. And then from Alpha Flight onwards, it's like $23. And then from Deathlock onwards, it's like $26. And then $32. And this is for like 12 issues. Here, Danny Ketch turns into the Ghost Rider. Ghost Rider was white hot at this time and kicked off the 90s, launching in 1990, and then being plastered in every single comic after that. Here's an ad for inline skating, which I would never got into, and I've been told it's out of fashion now. I don't know. I didn't like roller skates anyways. But here it's like just one set of wheels, which I feel would be even harder, and I never bothered. Spider-Man gets mixed up with Ghost Rider. And here's an ad for Right Riders. If you go online, it lists this comic as being the first appearance of the Right Riders and probably the last appearance of the Right Riders. They belong to Petro-Canada. Petro-Canada is a chain of gas stations here in Canada. They were a crown corporation up to this year, 1991, and then they got merged into a corporation, like a proper corporation. A crown corporation, of course, is the state owned them. So here in Canada, we have crown corporations, and Petro-Canada is one of them, and they were sponsoring this road safety stuff. This is pretty neat. Like, it's good information. And there's several of these that run throughout this comic. And this one's fairly helpful. It tells you all that. I mean, I knew this anyways, but like the left turn, right turn, slow down, or stopping, and then also you can use this as a right turn. Yeah, I mean, these were PSA comics, but the thing is that it just read like a regular comic where there's still fighting and cool stuff happening, and you throw in Ghost Rider and like no questions asked, right? I love this bit where Ghost Rider takes out his chain and then whips the chain links at him, and they turn into like spikes. That's wicked. That was I mean, Ghost Rider was so like late 80s, early 90s, like in trend. I mean, he just looks awesome, and he's totally like rock and roll. Here, Ghost Rider picks up a Sunday, like a Toronto Sun, um, like a box, and I like that I guess like they used a lot of referencing and stuff here, from like pictures, I guess. I don't know. And he throws the sun at Spider-Man, and Spider-Man gets really angry. Here in Toronto, the sun is seen as sort of raggy by some people, but it has the greatest sports section of all time. Of course, newspapers are still around, but people still question its relevance. I love this where Ghost Rider talks to these young bicyclists, and he's like, "Where's Spider-Man?" and all that, and then he tells this one guy like, "Wear your helmet, or you will see me again." And here's another Right Riders ad, um, and there's some sort of contest. I don't know what the heck you win, um, but more road safety stuff. This is all about road safety. There's a bit here where the guy who hit the kid says to himself, "You know what? Like, to make this better, let me contribute some money to this kid's hospital bill." That's a mistake. I know Dwayne McDuffie was American. Here, of course, in Canada, we have uh, universal health care. Well, sort of universal, but basically there would not be like a hospital bill for this kid. But he got everything else right. And here's Petro-Canada with more. They're funding small local Canadian baseball teams and stuff. And Ghost Rider gets the drunk driver. Spider-Man takes care of the other guys that he hired to actually kill the kid, which I think is really dark for like a PSA comic. They got away with a lot here. I appreciate that as a kid. This comic didn't talk down to kids. All the kids talking about road safety and stuff, yeah, that's sort of like eye rolling. But this is a proper Marvel comic. And here BJ Birdie comes back. Here's Blue Jays merchandise, which would be, of course, white hot the year after when they won the World Series. And there's more. Here, Spider-Man is asking if he should appear in more Canadian PSA comics, essentially. So there were 6 of these, and they were distributed for free, like at school assemblies and things, talking about drugs or road safety. And here he's teaming up with Kool-Aid Man for more crap. What is this? Free stuff. Yep. And here is Just Say No to Drugs commercial where a guy offers a kid drugs. He's like, no. Spider-Man sees it and he doesn't need to intervene here. Although maybe you should like capture these guys. I don't know. Um, but uh, but it looks like just a spliff. So, and then Spider-Man's like, yes, know the facts. Trust your spider senses. Right for your free, really me information booklet. So here, and this is seen throughout the comic as well. Every so often, there's like graffiti that says "really me." I liked this comic a lot. This is one of my favorite Spider-Man comics, probably because it's got so many Toronto references and things. Got to mention this dude from CFTR. I'm assuming that they basically used a lot of like photo references to make this comic, and Dwayne McDuffie did a good job making this entertaining and not talking down to kids about all this stuff. So I hope you enjoyed looking through this Spider-Man PSA comic from Canada, and see you next time.